Every pay cycle, you're making a choice, even if you don't realize it. You can take your full salary, hand a big chunk of it to the ATO and invest whatever's left over, or you can redirect some of that income into super first, only pay 15% tax and keep more of it working for you. That's salary sacrifice in a nutshell. And if you're in your 50s or 60s and still working, it's one of the most straightforward ways to save thousands of dollars in tax and build your super before you retire. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly how it works, who benefits most from it, and how to make the most of your final working years. Hey, I'm Chris Strano, the founder of SuperGuy.com.au and managing partner at Toro Wealth, where our vision is to be Australia's most trusted retirement planning firm. If you're new here, make sure you grab a copy of my 6-step super check. The link is in the description. And just a reminder, this video is general information only, not personal advice. So what exactly is salary sacrifice? It's a voluntary arrangement where you ask your employer to redirect some of your before-tax income straight into your super instead of paying it to you as a salary. This is extra money you choose to contribute into super on top of the compulsory super contributions your employer already pays for you. So why would you do it? Well, instead of paying your marginal tax rate, which could be 32, 39, or even 47% depending on what you earn, money that's contributed to super via salary sacrifice is generally taxed at 15%. Yes, you are locking those funds away in super until you retire. However, those funds are also growing faster inside super's low tax environment. So let me show you what this actually looks like in practice. Say that you earn $100,000 a year and you decide to salary sacrifice $20,000. If you take that $20,000 as income, you're taxed at 32%. So you pay $6,400 in tax on this amount and take home $13,600. If you salary sacrifice that same $20,000, it's only taxed at 15%. So $17,000 goes into your super account. That's $3,400 more on $20,000 of pre-tax contributions. And the benefit compounds over time. The more years you have left to work, the more those tax savings can add up. Over 5 years of doing this, that compounded tax saving equates to over $19,000 extra in super. So tax savings is the main advantage of salary sacrificing, but there are two other things worth knowing. First, your super may grow faster. Investment earnings inside super are taxed at up to 15%. Outside super, those same earnings are taxed at your marginal tax rate. So not only are you contributing more, your balance is growing more efficiently too. Second, once you've set up a salary sacrifice arrangement, it runs automatically. Your employer handles the contributions through payroll each pay cycle. There's nothing to transfer manually and nothing else to remember. Now, the trade-off is that once the money goes into super, it's locked away until you're able to access your super. But the closer you are to retirement, the less of an issue that tends to become, because you may only be a few years away from being able to access those funds anyway. Now, salary sacrificing will reduce your take-home pay, so you need to make sure that you still have enough income or savings to comfortably cover your living expenses. However, later in this video, I'll show you a more advanced strategy that some people use alongside salary sacrifice to help offset this trade-off. So there's no doubt that there are genuine benefits to salary sacrificing. However, it tends to be more effective for certain people at certain stages of life. In many cases, that's during your peak earning years, typically your 50s and early 60s. Income is often higher and therefore tax rates tend to be higher, and there's still enough time before retirement for those extra super contributions to compound and grow. In reality, salary sacrificing is only beneficial when your marginal tax rate for that portion of your income is higher than 15%, which is income above $45,000, because salary sacrifice contributions are taxed at 15% when entering super. So why would you salary sacrifice and lock away funds when you could pay the same tax personally but retain access? It also works best when you have consistent surplus income each pay cycle. You're focusing on building your retirement savings and you've reviewed your concessional contribution caps to make sure you remain within the limits. However, salary sacrificing may be less suitable if you rely on most of your take-home pay to cover everyday living expenses, or if you are carrying high interest debt that should be prioritized first, or if you're already close to or exceeding the concessional contribution cap. As with any superannuation strategy, the effectiveness of salary sacrifice depends on your personal situation. Now, salary sacrifice doesn't come without limits, so let's go through some of these. Salary sacrifice counts as a concessional contribution, so for the 2026-27 financial year, the concessional cap is $32,500. And that cap covers everything: your salary sacrifice, the super your employer contributes, and any personal contributions that you claim as a tax deduction. All of it goes towards the same $32,500 limit. So if your employer is already contributing, say, $10,000 a year in SG contributions, you've got $22,500 of cap space left for salary sacrifice. If you go over the limit, your excess gets added to your taxable income and taxed at your personal rate. So it's not like you get penalised as such, you just get a letter from the ATO and an unwanted surprise when you do your tax return. And if you leave the excess in your super, it gets added to your non-concessional cap, which is important to know because it could inadvertently cause you to exceed the non-concessional cap, and then excess tax will apply. Now, if you're watching this thinking, I should have been salary sacrificing earlier, there's actually a rule that can help you make up for lost time. It's called the carry forward rule, and it allows you to utilize any unused amounts from the past 5 years and contribute them in a single year. So instead of being capped at $32,500, you could potentially contribute $50,000, $70,000 or even $100,000 or more in that year. If you want to know how to do this, I've done a full video on unused concessional contributions, and I've put the link in the description. For most people, the starting point could just be setting up regular salary sacrifice contributions through your employer. So let's look at how to actually set this up. Here's how to do it. Step 1. Check with your employer. Most employers allow salary sacrifice into super, but they each have their own process. Start by asking your payroll team what's involved and make sure any arrangement is confirmed in writing. Step 2, decide how much to contribute. You can set it as a fixed dollar amount or a percentage of your salary. Pick an amount that fits comfortably within your budget, because you want this to be sustainable and not have to change it regularly. Step 3, stay within the concessional contribution cap. Factor in your employer's superannuation guarantee and any other concessional contributions before locking in your salary sacrifice amount. Step 4, review it each financial year. Your income, your goals, and the contribution caps can all change. A quick annual check helps you stay on track and make sure that you're optimizing your salary sacrifice amount. Now, a few things to be aware of before you start. Salary sacrifice reduces your take-home pay. That sounds obvious, but it's worth working out what you can comfortably give up each pay cycle before committing to an amount. Also, going over the concessional cap has tax consequences. Keep track of everything that counts towards the $32,500 limit, not just your salary sacrifice, but your employer's SG contributions as well. And lastly, once the money is in super, it's locked away until you meet a condition of release, which is usually retiring after 60 or turning 65. So make sure you're only contributing money that you won't need access to in the short term. Now, this is where we move into a more advanced retirement planning strategy, using salary sacrifice and combining it with a transition to retirement pension. The cool kids call it a TTR pension. So once you're 60, you can start a TTR pension, and this allows you to start accessing some of your super tax-free while you're still working. It's designed to bridge the gap between full-time work and retirement, giving you a bit more flexibility as you transition towards stopping work entirely. So the strategy is that you redirect more of your wage via salary sacrifice into super as concessional contributions, which, as you now know, is taxed at 15% instead of your marginal tax rate. But now you're short on income, right? So to keep your take-home pay the same, you use tax-free TTR pension payments to top up your pay. This means you may be able to max out your concessional cap without it affecting your income. Same income, less tax, and you're continuing to build up your super. It can sound a bit confusing when you first hear it, so I've done a full video breaking down exactly how this strategy works, and I've linked to it in the description below. As an Australian, the final 5 to 10 years before retirement are some of the most important financial years of your life, because at this stage, decisions around salary sacrifice, super contributions, and transition to retirement strategies can have a significant impact on how much you retire with. So if you'd like personalised advice around strategies like these, head over to torowealth.com.au. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching, stay super, and I'll see you on the next one.